Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. 52 Pickup is a 1986 American crime film that was directed by John Frankenheimer. It stars Roy Scheider and Ann-Margret. In the golden age of Hollywood, crime dramas knew something that most modern movies have forgotten. Heroes are great, but a movie is only as good as the villain that's in it. John Frankenheimer uses this film to provide us with one of the best villains around, and uses his vile charm as the starting point for a surprisingly good production. Raimi is that villain's name, and he's played by John Glover. This charming blackmailer has a conscience with parts that are on order. He tries to pull a masterful job on a rich businessman named Harry, played by Roy Scheider. This is done by showing him videotapes of an affair that Harry has been having with a topless dancer. He demands $110,000. Harry laughs and thinks it's over, decides not to pay, and confesses everything to his wife Barbara, played by Ann-Margret. Raimi then throws another kink into the scheme with another videotape. This one shows the topless dancer that Harry is seeing being murdered with Harry's gun. The plot in itself is not spectacular, but what makes it real special is the level at which it's told. The screenplay is based on an Elmore Leonard novel, and this screenplay retains his colorful dialogue throughout the film. It also adds the key ingredient in most of his novels, which is the sight of a marginal character being pushed far beyond his capacity to deal with things. In this film, there are 3 such characters, and by the end of the movie, they are all desperately frightened and confused. One being the well-dressed Raimi, who makes porno movies and is capable of cold-blooded murder, but he completely falls apart at the thought of his own destruction. Another is Harry, who's an amoral businessman who has a way of rising to the challenge and figures out a way to outsmart his blackmailers by using their character defects against them. And a sweaty little guy named Leo is the third. He works for Raimi, and he went along with the crime completely, but never figured in any way that someone was actually going to get hurt. There are 3 absolutely great performances in the movie, one being by Ann-Margret, the other being by Vanity, and the last by Clarence Williams III. It still surprises us when we see Ann-Margret in a good role. We have a tendency to view her as if she were still making Viva Las Vegas with Elvis. There's no doubt that at this point in her career, she had grown into a dependable, serious actress. And in this film, she finds the delicate job of marking the line between anger at what her husband has done and pride in how he is trying to fix it. A smaller role is played by Vanity as a prostitute with crucial information. She gives us the sense that she's fresh from the intriguing off-screen action, like all good character actors do. This movie is basically a revenge melodrama. Thriller fans are not going to be that excited. What does matter, though, is the energy level and the detail of the performances. Tomorrow Entertainment first acquired the rights to Leonard's novel, 52 Pickup, in 1972, and they plan to begin filming an adaptation on January 1st, 1973. But the film was placed in a turnaround and eventually acquired by the Cannon Group, who then went to change the setting from Detroit to Tel Aviv, and the identity of the blackmail victim's family of a U.S. ambassador to Israel. This film version, The Ambassador, was released in 1984. After John Frankenheimer read the book, he obtained permission from the owners to direct a more faithful adaptation of the novel. Production was originally going to begin in April of 1986 in Pittsburgh, which was meant to stand in for the novel's original setting of Detroit. The film was then moved to L.A. strictly on budgetary reasons. The Mitchells' home was filmed in Hancock Park, while other scenes were shot in Vine Street and Santa Monica Boulevard. The baseball game that you see in the film was actually a real game played at Dodger Stadium between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Mets. Roy Scheider had been offered the lead in several of Cannon's films, but he turned them all down. He just wasn't pleased with the scripts. When they offered him the lead role in this movie, he immediately accepted it because he liked the book. At the time, Cannon Studio, which was famous for turning out low-budget films, didn't intend to release this film in advance for a critic screening. But the director Frankenheimer convinced them to do this. The studio was so impressed with the critical results, they went on to compliment the director by saying this was the highest-rated Cannon film released at that time. The characters of Doreen, played by Vanity, and Bobby Shy, played by Clarence Williams III, are lovers in the film. Vanity was in real life Prince's ex-girlfriend as they were together in the early 80s. And as a point of trivia, Clarence Williams III played Prince's father in the movie Purple Rain from 1984. The production designer for the project decided to build the live nude model parlor at the corner of Vine Street and Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood, when arrangements could not be made with area establishments for a week's worth of shooting. Now, holy cow, you'll see more adult film stars in this movie than I think has ever been present in a regular production. Just some of them that appear are Randy West, Tom Byron, Amber Lynn, Sharon Mitchell, Ron Jeremy, Herschel Savage, Erica Boyer, Barbara Dare, Cara Lott, and Jamie Ellis. All of them appear during the party sequence in the movie. It's said that the adult film actress Sika auditioned for a small part as an extra in the party scene too, but she ultimately passed on being in the film after the director, John Frankenheimer, asked her out on a dinner date. I find that story somewhat hard to believe. Go back and take a look at this not great, but still fun to watch film. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.